It's us.
Hello.
Hi, you guys.
Hi. It's Flip.
And Ange.
And we are back with another live stream of Crushed Impressed.
Yay. Let's see. We are going to be talking about Jennifer Kesse because that was your idea.
This was my topic.
First, a disclaimer. You guys, this is adult content. We are talking about potential murder, missing woman, other true crimey stuff, and then, of course, we cuss every once in a while.
Every day. So, every once in a while.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
So we know you're probably in quarantine with your kiddos. Get them out of the room, put on some headphones, have some fun time with us.
Right.
Yeah.
Today, Ange and I do not have any wine.
No.
I wasn't going to brave the racetrack again, but we do have White Claw,
which I've never had before in my life.
And just never had a White Claw.
No.
Which is weird.
I know. So
you ready?
Yeah.
It's a little bit ASMR there for you.
Oh, enjoy that. Listen to the bubbles.
I know.
Okay, let's see. What'd you got? I got mango. What'd you got?
Watermelon. Watermelon is like my new favorite flavor. Like if you are of legal drinking age and you want some highball and you want some refreshing drinks, this is the way to go, man.
This mango is pretty good. I'm not opposed to this. I like it. We're fine.
Okay,
good. Wine. I'm gonna drink it. We're good.
All right, so we're gonna hop into this as we say all the time. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, just go ahead and drop your comment. We are gonna be dropping links. We'll interact with you guys. Whatever you want to know, we'll tell you.
We'll pop in some photos and stuff. And if you have any links that you find, share them in there. We'll go check them out.
For sure.
If you have questions about just like what's behind us in the room right now.
This is Joey's Batman pop. Oh, where's the camera? There's the
There you
camera.
go.
This
You
is
guys all
Joey's
know
Batman.
that.
I'm like looking at it.
Yeah.
This is Joey's Batman pop. He got it for his birthday.
Yeah. So you can ask us, ask us about anything. For the most part, we'll answer. If it's real lewd, we're not going to answer and screw off.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
All right, let's get started.
Yay.
So I'm going to pop a photo of her right up in the corner here. So this is Miss Jennifer Kesse.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer Kesse is a 24-year-old woman who vanished from her recently purchased condo in Orlando, Florida on January 23rd, 2006. So when I say like area of Orlando, I don't know how many of you are familiar with that area, but there is like the Mall of Millennia, like an IKEA, all of that is right there. Her condos were right back in that strip. 2006 is before a lot of this was developed. So when she was living there, it really wasn't the best area, but it was up and coming, and her condos were actually still under construction, and we'll get into a lot of that in the case. So Jennifer was born in New Jersey, and she moved to Tampa with her family. She then graduated from UCF in 2003, and at the time of her disappearance, she was working as a finance manager for a timeshare company called Westgate Timeshares. Another pretty big company in Orlando. You probably see a lot of their, like, they have like hotels and other condos and stuff. They do like Disney timeshares and stuff. So you see a lot of that when you're driving through. Jennifer spent the weekend before she vanished vacationing with her boyfriend in the Virgin Islands, I believe.
Yes.
And they came back to the States on Sunday, January 22nd. And she spent that night at her boyfriend's house. So.
Do you have that picture of her boyfriend?
Yeah.
We
Let me pull that
we
up
got some
really
pictures
quick.
for you guys.
So this is Jennifer and her boyfriend. We will talk a little bit more about him when we get a little bit further down in our information.
Yes.
That photo is not from their vacation. That is just a photo of the two of them hanging out. I did find a photo of their vacation, but it was not a very good photo. So Jennifer purchased her first condo at 24. So, I mean, she was
Congratulations.
on top of her game here
Yeah.
because
What?
Joey's brought us some potato
Okay,
skins.
you guys. So we tried to do dinner beforehand or make something, but he goes, how about twice baked potatoes? And we're like, fuck yeah. How about boiled and then baked? Okay,
that
that's
works.
fine. We're good with that. How about chorizo instead of bacon? That's fine. Just
Mexican
make us
twice
food.
baked potatoes.
So he brought us in potato
Some
skins.
potato skins.
And
Yum.
their chips.
Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly munch on that.
I'm just gonna try that. That's good.
Thanks, Joey.
Thanks, Joey.
So Jennifer purchased her first condo at 24, which is like an amazing feat because,
Nope.
25, then I have a car.
I'm not. No, we're still renting. We're gonna rent for quite a while.
Well,
Jeez.
it'd be like that sometimes.
It's fine.
So condo was unfinished, and there were constantly construction workers around the home.
Yes.
Those construction workers were constantly working in and out of the home, and they were going in and out, which often made her really uncomfortable, as it would make, I think, anybody uncomfortable.
Yes.
She kept her door unlocked during the day a lot of the times because the construction workers had to frequently go into the home, which I can't imagine that, but all right.
I know, and she's at work, so
Right,
she's
she's
not
at
like
work.
she's there.
But when she was home during the day, she made sure that she was constantly on the phone with somebody, and she would leave the door open so that everybody around her could hear. So the setup of her condo, from what I'm told, is that she was on the second floor, but her condo was way in the back, and then there was a staircase. So generally that hallway was actually pretty dark.
Yeah.
And there was really nobody around, so she always made sure that she left it open so that other people in the area could hear her if she screamed or something.
And you guys, she was so in touch with her parents. We'll get into it later, but they knew her
Everything about
schedule,
her.
her favorite clothing items, all this stuff. So she was really making sure to keep in contact with people. I'm one of those that I always brag that my schedule is not consistent enough. So if you were trying to stalk me, you would never know when the hell you're going to find me walking out of that house. Because dog walks aren't consistent. Cleaning schedule's not consistent, but she had a schedule. She knew what she was doing. She made sure she was on the phone and took these precautions. It's a
Right.
whole.
So at night, she, again, would make sure that she was on the phone with somebody. In the mornings, when she was walking to her car, she was on the phone with somebody. Mm-hmm. And she had, like, the same people that she would consistently call at these times of day so that they knew where she was at all times. And all of these people had, like, each other's phone numbers so that if anything happened, they would all have, like, an ability to kind of reach out. So Jennifer's family was extremely uncomfortable with her living in this sketchy area. They taught her to always be extremely cautious of her surroundings. I wouldn't say it's necessarily sketchy. That area is not sketchy. Well, you know what? Now it's not sketchy. I wasn't there back in 2006.
Yeah.
But it's not sketchy now.
Okay.
But the area, I guess, where she was, like, you would literally, like, cross the street and then you're in, for lack of a better term, the ghetto. Mm-hmm. So the day before her disappearance, she went to work from her boyfriend's home. So her boyfriend lives in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes.
So he was
like a
about
3-hour drive?
3.5 hours away from her. She arrived to work on time, which means that she would have had to have left his house probably about 5:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. And then she left work at 6:30. Mm-hmm. She spoke with her dad on her way home from work, and that was just a normal thing that she did every day. As I said, she called people constantly so they always knew where she was. She went inside her condo, and she spoke to her parents for a little bit. She told her parents that she was just really tired. It had been a really long vacation, and
then immediately back to work?
Really long day, you know? And then immediately back to work. So she said she was tired, she was hungry, she just really wanted to go to bed. She spoke to her brother. He had called her because his friend that was house sitting with him while she was on vacation, he had left his cell phone there, so he wanted to make sure that they would be able to get his friend's cell phone back. She said, yeah, no problem, I'll overnight it to you. Mm-hmm. There was nothing abnormal about that conversation whatsoever. And then she spoke to her boyfriend later that night. I think she said she went to bed around 10. Mm-hmm. So she spoke to her boyfriend later that night. Her boyfriend said that there was nothing abnormal about their conversation.
Right.
He recalled that she was tired, but, like, there was nothing strange. She didn't say anything strange about her surroundings or anybody near her.
Right.
And that was in his initial statement to the police. He then later told the police that they had an argument. Mm-hmm.
And then we web sleuthed today.
Oh man, I dug deep, you guys.
We're sitting here, we're looking into some stuff, and look, because I know what their fight was about, and I'm like, what was their fight about?
So they had gotten into an argument about their relationship. Mm-hmm. Jennifer and her then boyfriend Rob had been dating for about a year, and Jennifer had already told him, like, that she loved him and that they really wanted this to go somewhere. Rob had been previously divorced. And he was still kind of sore from that divorce, understandable. So he was kind of taking things slowly with her. Mm-hmm. He didn't really want to jump the gun. So they were having that conversation after getting back from vacation. On vacation, she had met all of his family, all of his friends, and then they went back home and they were living, 3 hours away from each other. Mm-hmm. So their argument was about the fact that they couldn't decide if their relationship were to get serious, who was going to move where. Was she going to move to Fort Lauderdale with him, or was he going to move to Orlando with her? Yep. Because they both really enjoyed their jobs. I believe he worked at a college as an athletic director, and she loved her job. She was, like, moving up very quickly in her position. Yep. So she didn't want to leave her job either. So, of course, they got into another argument about it. He had asked her to move down there with him, and she kind of just said, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Yeah. I just want to go to bed. I'm tired. I'm tired of having this conversation with you.
And you can picture that. So they just spent this whole vacation together, come home, spend the night with him, then immediately that next morning at 5 a.m., drive to work, come back home, and you just go right into, you know what, if you were just living here in Fort Lauderdale, well, if you were living here in Orlando, this wouldn't blah, blah, blah. My day wouldn't have been so long.
So I get it.
Yeah, but nothing crazy.
But again, he didn't say it was anything crazy. They weren't, like, screaming at each other. And he had said that they ended the phone conversation with, I love you, good night, be safe.
Right.
So it's not, like, they're having, like, all-out, like, brawls.
Right, right. This isn't a history of domestic abuse story.
Not at all.
Yeah, because normally it's the boyfriend did it, the husband did it, and so...
So the next morning, Jennifer's boyfriend says that he doesn't get a call from her, which is strange. Like I said, she calls him every night before he goes to bed. She calls him every morning before she goes to work. He thought it was a little strange. They usually talk on their way to work. So he decided to call her, and it went straight to voicemail. Now,
could be. There's a million different reasons for
he's
that.
like, maybe she's in the shower, maybe she's tired, maybe she's sick, whatever. So then he says that he proceeds to call her a couple more times, and they all go to voicemail every time. And now he's kind of like, wow, this is strange. Because she goes to work. She gets there at 8:30, and I think he said he had to be at work by 9:30. So on his commute to work, he's constantly calling her, trying to figure out what's going on. Then Jennifer's parents get a call from her job stating that she was a no-show, which was completely unlike her. She was always on time, and if she wasn't on time, or if she wasn't able to come to work, she would always call. And I think at this point they had said that she had never missed a day of work.
And she's just one of those responsible people. You're not gonna, there's something wrong if she hasn't called.
I mean, a lot of her friends described her as mother hen. She was always the safe one of the group. Her parents talk a lot about the reason why they were so obsessed with safety. Prior to her being born, her parents were robbed at gunpoint. So, safety is a huge thing for them. So they had always made sure that she had everything she needed to be safe, and that she was constantly in communication with people about her whereabouts.
And y'all, just real quick, take a moment. Think about your family. Think about who you have in your family. And if you're learning something from us, this may be one of those things. Maybe you guys should have a family plan. Maybe you should have a check-in schedule. I always get on my mom, who thank God is not on Facebook, about never answering her damn phone. Never.
Is that just like a mom thing?
And we're talking, a week goes by, and she says things like, your Aunt Noreen's on Facebook that you don't have any clients right now because of this COVID-19 thing. And it's like, yeah, Mom, you would know that too if you'd answer your phone once when I called all week long. But,
I think that's just a mom thing.
But there's got to be some kind of thing. Like, I can get with her and do a nightly text, Mom, I'm still alive, and a good morning text, Mom, I'm still alive.
Right.
Something like that.
My mom knows I'm alive because I post on Facebook all the time.
Well, that's true. You can find me if you want to find me.
You can find me. I'm here. I typically answer the phone. But anyway, after that, her parents were like, you know what? This is strange. They call her brother, immediately pack up and drive to Orlando. Then they call her boyfriend on their way to Orlando, and he's like, no, I'm already on my way.
We all know something's wrong.
Something is up right now. Her parents get to the condo, and they notice that her car is missing. And the reason why this is such a weird thing to them is now they're assuming, maybe she got up and went somewhere and just didn't say anything. They have the apartment manager do a wellness check. They have her just go in. The apartment manager goes in and she's like, no, nothing's wrong here.
And that's as they're driving.
Yes.
They called and got the apartment manager to go into the apartment.
They get to, the apartment manager goes out and checks the parking spot. She's like, no, our car's not here. I don't know, what's going on. Her parents finally get there, and there's nothing abnormal about her home. She had a wet towel on the floor. There were clothes laid out. There was makeup on the bathroom counter. Everything had suggested that she was preparing to go to work or preparing to go out somewhere. And again, this is where Angela comes in and says, well, her parents know a lot about her. Her dad mentioned that her favorite pair of shoes was missing. She had a pair of alligator skin shoes that was missing.
Meanwhile, Dad, if you're watching, do you know my favorite shoes?
I was going to say,
I don't think Trevor knows my favorite shoes.
Do you think my parents know what my favorite shoes are?
No.
I don't even think Joey knows what my favorite shoes are. Angela knows what my favorite shoes are. We just had a discussion about this a minute ago.
I have current favorite shoes as well, but yeah.
But again, I don't think my family knows what my favorite pairs of shoes would be.
No.
They noticed that an outfit was missing from her closet. Again, that's a really specific
of all the clothes
thing to know that one of her outfits is missing. Her purse and her briefcase were missing, and her cell phone was missing.
Yeah.
So everything that they had found suggested that she'd gotten up and went to work.
Yep.
Her family then notices that her alarm wasn't armed, but they assume it's because the complex manager went in to do the wellness check. So
Right.
they just assumed that the complex manager disarmed the alarm and then just didn't set it back when she had left. Police and family... the family calls the police, and of course the police just assume she's a 24-year-old woman. She probably just got up and left and didn't call anybody. It's not a big deal. Like, she's an adult. She can go do whatever she wants.
Well, and the whole not answering your phone. What if that morning her phone fell in her toilet and it is absolutely not working?
Right.
And she, was headed to work. She stopped by a phone store to get it fixed. There's a million different things that could have happened.
So the cops are, at this point, like, whatever. It's not a big deal.
Right.
They basically tell the family, you need to wait 48 hours, which is a standard procedure.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. Because what if she comes back? She's an adult.
Yes, it's a standard procedure. You need to wait the 48 hours before they will file a missing persons report. So, her family later reports that she hasn't returned home. Her family and her boyfriend start basically living in her condo.
Yeah, and waiting for her to come back.
So, they report that she has not returned home. And the police are finally like, okay, we'll start investigating this. This doesn't seem right.
Mm-hmm.
The police start by sending out a detective to the complex and all the surrounding complexes to interrogate others around them. Mm-hmm. They also start, and this is super strange, her family is like so on top of everything that they're like, there's no possible way that she left on her own. The second they got to her condo, they had people printing out flyers and T-shirts and cards and all kinds of stuff for them to post all over town. And they were out in the middle of 5 o'clock rush hour traffic, handing out all these signs and wearing T-shirts and flyers. Were going everywhere to every single person because they were like, this is She would not go an entire day without talking to us.
Exactly.
So at this point, her flyer's already circulating in that area in Orlando. Then they start sending out, once the police get involved, they start sending out the flyers to the news stations. And this woman, the police typically give news stations the go-ahead on when they can start running news stories.
Right, talking about it.
There was a woman, I cannot remember for the life of me which channel she worked for. It might have been Wesh. But she sees the flyer and immediately goes out. Doesn't even wait for the police, doesn't wait to run it by her boss, just goes. Because she just felt so strongly connected to this story. So she goes out, and at this point, her family has already given her a description of the car.
Yes.
So there's already a description of the car circulating on the news. The tenant in a nearby complex informs the police, hey, I saw this car in our parking lot. It's been here for 2 days. It doesn't have a parking sticker on it. And it looks similar to the car that you guys were describing on the news that belonged to this Jennifer girl. And she says, the cops go, okay, that's fine. And they run over and they go and they check everything. Person points out the car, and the police run the VIN number and discover it is her car.
And it's been there for 2 days.
And it's been there for 2 days now. And it's not like this apartment complex that they're checking is super duper far away. We're talking like this person, you could walk from her her condo to this next apartment complex. And when I say like you walk across the street and you're in like the sketchy part of town, you could see there's a clear like income difference between these two places. And her parents are like, this is not a place that her car would be. She didn't do drugs. Because the police now start assuming that she's, like, doing drugs and this is, like, a drug deal gone bad.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
let's stay within the character of the person that's missing. Jesus Christ.
Then they are given video surveillance from the complex, and they find a record of a person moving her car and then walking away. And the recording is blurry, and it doesn't show the person's face.
Pull the picture. Pull the picture.
I was going to say, do we have the
We
picture
have the picture.
of this?
We have the picture.
We should. Why is this not opening?
We'll get it.
There we go. I got it.
Flips on this. If it was me, y'all, we'd be waiting for half an hour.
This is what they get.
Covered by a pole.
This person is the luckiest person on earth, first of all.
Yep. Because there's another one, and I didn't save that one. But this is one of those cameras that takes a picture every 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And the first shot that it took, that person was on the left pole.
Yeah, it was
3 seconds later, that person is on the right pole.
So when I tell you that is like, how did you manage to get that lucky?
Mm-hmm.
And then we can also, I'll pull it up, but I don't know if I can do it right now because I don't know. But I will post it in the comments so that if you guys really want to see the Facebook link, there is a Facebook link to the 2 surveillance videos they have. The first one is just somebody like parking her car, and you can see them like backing into the spot and then going forward and backing back in. And then the second one is them getting out of the car. They look like they light up a cigarette and they walk around the pool to where this video is, where this photo was taken.
Right.
And then they just have the 2 shots of them walking in front. Let me take that off the screen now so you guys don't have to stare at that. So the officers were able to zoom into the photo and see the person's body. But again, that's not really giving you a whole lot, just seeing that person's body.
Yeah.
Then, of course, because we live in Florida and we use as many resources as we can to solve a crime, they use NASA to basically go in and enhance the photo to help with identification.
Yep.
And NASA is able to help them identify the height and the gender, but no other recognizable information. Yeah. So that photo that we just put up on the screen is the enhanced version from NASA.
Yep.
Based on that, they determine that the person is, at least, I think they said 5'10", and they're assuming this is a male. The family was told the car was sitting there for the 2 days she went missing. Yeah, so she went missing, and then the car had been sitting there for 2 days. So the car had been sitting there from the day she went missing into the 48-hour mark.
Yep.
Because, again, they could not report her as a missing person for 48 hours. Laws are weird here.
Correct. There you go.
Welcome to Florida.
Yeah.
None of Jennifer's family or friends recognize the person that is in the photo. Her mom kind of assumes that it might be like an adolescent because of how long the person's arms are. So they think like maybe the body wasn't fully developed, but
right.
That doesn't really mean anything.
Well, and that's what we had talked about, just based on where that placement is. How far away is that person from that gate? How tall is that gate?
Hi, Trevor.
Oh, hi. Hi, Jay. Hi, Trevor. Hi, France. But you can't really tell that from a photo, and so like with the NASA enhancing and all of that stuff, it really, this person, just lucky as shit. Just even the way they look.
Right.
Like they can blend right in because they
are wearing a white shirt. It looks like khaki pants, a black hat, and some black shoes. Like, okay, that's not doing anything.
No. And we'll get more into what kind of people wear that outfit in a minute, but yeah.
So they finally start checking the actual vehicle. And all items of value are left in the vehicle. So they're assuming this is not a robbery. Like there's a DVD player in the back seat. Right. There's some CDs left out. I think there was some like change in the cup holder.
2006, y'all. 2006.
Yeah,
just keep that in mind.
Yeah, remember that's why she has a DVD player.
Yes.
I certainly don't have one. So we learned that the hard way.
Y'all brought her over a DVD of a show we were in together, and she's like, "We can't even watch this in the house. There's nothing that reads a disc in this house
around here. What is this?" And there was some jewelry in the car. Like none of this stuff was taken. And then the only thing that they find in the car, like in the actual like seats of the car, is a latent fingerprint. If you guys don't know what a latent fingerprint is, essentially it's like half a fingerprint. It's like barely usable.
Yeah.
So that's really worth nothing to them. Typically with latent fingerprints, if you have to have like a full sample of a fingerprint before you can just kind of start to like match it up. And just like over here Googling.
I was like, let me see what the actual
Ferociously
definition of this is.
fingerprint.
It's left on a surface by deposits of oils and or perspiration from a finger. So it's not usually visible to the naked eye, but it may be detected with special techniques such as dusting with fine powder and then lifting the powder with transparent tape. But latent, I think it's just...
Latent is just a smaller version of the actual fingerprint.
Yeah.
You're not getting a full fingerprint. You're just getting a piece of the fingerprint.
Yeah, versus like your finger going into clay.
Yes.
Or something like that. Anyway,
No.
The reason I made that face, y'all, when we were talking about going to the car is because it's one of those, and we've kind of talked about this. Okay, your daughter's been missing for 2 days. Someone has said that the car has been there for 2 days. And we saw in a video that someone got out of the car and walked away. Clearly, she's not in the actual car. Is she in the trunk?
So, the police, obviously, like I said, they didn't find anything in the interior of the car, like where the seats are. So, the police say to her family and her boyfriend, we're going to open the trunk. Somebody needs to be with us to open the trunk. So, if we pop this trunk open, somebody can identify her body. So... naturally, her parents say heck no.
Yeah.
Because I would say heck no.
Nope.
But her boyfriend volunteered to do it.
Good on him.
And he walks up to the trunk of the car and he's standing there with the officer and he said they popped the trunk open and of course her body was not in there. And her boyfriend said it was kind of like a double-edged sword because there was the relief that like her body's not in there so she could still be alive. But then there's also that like fear and frustration of like, okay, if this was going to be that little bit of closure that we had finding her in here, now we have no closure.
Yeah.
When she went missing, does anybody know if the family tried to get... Yeah, I'll get into that, John. We're
real close. We're about to.
So I will totally answer that question for you. So due to the lack of evidence in the car, they basically assume that the car had been wiped clean. There was like a 30-second or so lapse in the video where the person is just sitting in the vehicle before they get out to walk by the pool.
Right.
So they assume that he wiped down the car and he must have like missed that fingerprint. I think they said it was on the handle of the door, so he probably just opened the door and just forgot to wipe it down before he walked away. Officers then bring out a scent dog and they run it around the car and basically they're able to follow the same path that they see in the videos. They follow it around the car, they follow it by the pool, but then they notice that the trail stops in the bushes in front of her house. So it makes it seem like whoever did this went back to her condo. Which
why and nothing was missing.
Nothing was missing from the condo. Nothing is strange. It just sits that the person went back to the condo. Sorry, Joey was in here. Silence your phones, Joey.
He yells at us constantly, you guys. And then no.
So again, they assume that in the car, maybe her purse will be in there, her briefcase will be in there. No. Where's her purse or briefcase? Like, where are those items?
Yeah.
They are still looking for her cell phone. They don't have any clothes. They're like, what is going on? They don't have a bank card. So then they try to trace the phone.
Remember, 2006.
2006, you guys. So this is, we're tracing a flip phone. Her phone is assumed to be turned off because they're not able to trace the phone.
Right.
And same thing with her bank card. Her bank card has not ever been in use since her disappearance, which is...
Yeah. If she was alive, it probably would have been used.
Then police speak to the manager at the complex, and they state that Jennifer was a fairly decent resident. Hi, Mom.
Your mom is watching.
My mom is watching. Police speak to the office manager, as I said. They say that nothing... They only have one, like, really strange incident with her, where she went into the office the week of January 14th, 2006, and they said that she was, like, super nervous. Like, She just kind of was really distracted. She walked in there without having anything to talk to them about. She kind of just, like, it just seemed like she just ran in there, and she said she just wanted to say hi. She just wanted to see how everything was going, which, I don't know. I don't pop into my apartment manager's office and just say, hey, what's up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just checking in. Like,
and that was when, January 19th?
The week of January 14th. She couldn't remember the exact date.
Okay. And she went missing on the 23rd.
Yeah, it was a week
just so
before
you'll know.
her.
It's just right there.
She said that it seemed like Jennifer had run into the office to avoid somebody. But she wasn't like, the woman said she didn't see anybody outside. So I don't know if somebody was in a car that was following her, something like that. But she said she didn't see anybody outside. It just seemed strange that she just kind of like ran in there.
I was like, hi,
haste,
no business.
Just like, hey. What are we saying here? Okay, so then I dipped back to the cell phone here.
Oh, yeah.
Just because this is kind of the order that the police have done most of their investigations in, and this is the order that, like, the timeline is in for the police. And we know that because they were able to release those documents a couple of years ago. So.
Yeah.
But the investigators state that the phone pinged last at 10:40 p.m. on the evening of the 23rd and went dead shortly after. So 10:40 p.m. on the day of the 23rd, it would be right after she finished talking to her boyfriend.
Yep.
Again, that's not a super reliable thing. Sometimes phones just don't ping on certain towers.
Well, and there's a whole thing about, let's say I leave, like, North Carolina to fly to Texas, right? I turn off my phone in North Carolina. When I turn it on in Texas, it may still initially ping off of North Carolina.
Hi, Yvonne.
Hello. It may initially ping in North Carolina for a second until it catches up and says Texas. So pings are not the end-all, be-all of this kind of technology to confirm stuff.
Right.
It just kind of sets up parameters.
Again, this is 2006, so things have kind of changed.
Were there no
cameras outside to see? No, there were not. There absolutely were not any cameras. We will also get into that. No, there were no cameras. There were no cameras in her apartment complex or her condo complex whatsoever.
And it was still, remember, it's still being built.
Right.
Like around her and everything. That's why there's all those maintenance people coming in and out.
Yeah. That is another thing that we will touch on because that just seems super strange that there are no cameras anywhere.
I know. Well, and that's now in these modern times, we're like, and here are the plethora of shit you check to make sure and see where someone went. And back 2006, y'all, doesn't seem that long ago. Long time ago.
They also reached out to her alarm company. So I don't know if she had like ADT or whatever, but they typically are able to like track when the alarm system was punched and not punched.
Right.
Her alarm system was not set that night.
And that makes no sense as a person that always
she's
did
like
that.
Obsessive about her safety.
Yeah.
So she set her alarm every single night.
Yep.
So it was kind of strange. And then, of course, in 2008, somebody found her mail key and her container of pepper spray.
Do you know where? No.
I think they said they were out, like, walking, and it was, like, on the side of the road.
Okay.
They didn't
weird.
find anything else. Just her mail key and the pepper spray.
Because, in other cases, we would find the purse containing all this stuff.
No, just the mail key.
Okay.
The only reason why they knew it was a mail key, I think it was like near her apartment complex that they happened to be out walking, and they just picked it up on the side of the road. And we're talking 2 years later.
Right.
Which is kind of scary to think that her key and her pepper spray were sitting out there 2 years later, unless, of course, our person of interest went back to the scene, which is possible.
Yeah.
A lot of killers do that. They like to relive that event.
Yeah. Ooh. And you guys, just so we know that when you comment something on the live, it takes a hot minute to get to us. We know that. So
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Give us a second.
Okay,
about 40 seconds. So if you type in a
so.
question, please wait for up to a minute for us to respond.
We'll get into suspects.
Yes.
No one has officially been named as a person of interest in this case. And as we get into suspects, I am going to state this, and we state this at every single podcast and every single live stream we do. Angela and I are not trying to solve this case.
Nope.
We are not trying to say we know who did it.
Nope.
We are just saying that you're suspects, and a lot of them are shady.
And we may pick a favorite that we like for it, but
that is personally that is our opinions
Yes.
on this case, and
we're not sending you
we're
on a
not-
mission
yeah,
to go attack
please
somebody.
don't attack
Please don't.
anybody.
So
2 seconds.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make a run, but when you guys are ready to wrap up, the song is in the downloads.
Okay.
All you have to do is click the ending button,
Uh-huh.
press F2 to mute your mic,
Uh-huh.
Okay.
play the song,
Uh-huh.
Okay.
let it happen. And
Okay.
then on the Facebook tab, click end.
Okay.
Joey's just telling us how to do things.
Y'all, we're going to be in charge of shutting down our own shit today. Let's see if we can do
I'm
it.
gonna make a run, so I'll be back in a little while.
Okay. Potatoes are
We
ready.
can take a break. I don't know. I didn't make an intermission tab.
Nah, we're good.
No, we're just gonna go straight through.
yeah.
Okay.
Because we got Phantasmagoria at 8.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
You got one?
We got Phantasmagoria at 8. Yeah, they're going to be doing fire
fire
spinning and
dancing
storytelling
people.
and stuff
Is it live?
on their live
Yeah,
on
on their
Facebook.
live.
Yeah.
Oh, at this point, go on beyond that.
Yeah,
We
we'll
might,
see.
but we'll whatever.
Yeah.
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 All right, so again, nobody has actually been named as a person of interest in this case. We'll start with the boyfriend, since that's what we do.
Yep.
Her boyfriend spoke to her again the night before she disappeared. He was very, very, very quickly ruled out as a suspect. He lives 3 hours away from her. He had an alibi. He was at work. His boss corroborates that alibi. We know that he probably was not involved in this. They do look at him a few times about things. They look at him because he said that everything was fine in their conversation. And then they had this, later he says that they have this huge argument about their relationship. But again, he lives in Fort Lauderdale. You know how difficult it would be for him to have to like
Get off
be
that
in
phone, have an
Fort
argument,
Lauderdale,
drive.
have an argument with her, drive 3 hours, and then drive through, like, clean up, do whatever, and then drive 3 hours back. That's
Well,
too much. And then how
and
would he
still-
move the car?
Yeah, I was
There-
gonna move
there's
the car.
too much.
No.
So there's really not a whole lot there that makes sense. There is a thought that maybe she was a victim of human trafficking. Her family says that they are still open to that idea.
Yeah.
But there's no further evidence on that theory, and human trafficking, kidnapping in broad daylight. If the police are saying that they're assuming that this happened at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So she got up, got to her
So
car,
she
was
got
getting
up
ready to go to work, and got kidnapped.
in the middle of daylight.
Yeah.
Not very likely. She is not an easy target for a kidnapping. Especially the fact that she talks to somebody on the phone every time. So if she had been walking to her car, there's no way that she would have done that without somebody being on the phone. There's no way that somebody wouldn't have known.
Right.
The construction workers. So they say that it's fully possible that a construction worker who was working in the complex that she was living in might have seen her and taken an interest in her. Her dad said that she often stated that the workers were catcalling her. They would sit outside of her apartment, like right in front of her assigned parking spot, and they would catcall her.
Right.
She said it made her really, really uncomfortable. And then, of course, this theory is further supported by the bloodhounds who went and did the smell around the car and then came back to the apartment or came back to the condo complex because they think that would make sense. If the worker did something with the car, moved the car, and then they had to come back to work.
Yep.
So that's their other theory there. Another really creepy thing is that, again, this is 2006, so we have to remember that things were different. The condo management let the workers sleep in the vacant condos while they were working on them.
Yep. So they were working and they were residents in the same area she was.
Right. Like, they let them live there rent-free, which is
Yeah.
really strange to me. I don't know. I think if you have other tenants there, like, why would you have allowed that?
Yeah.
And then the theory on... Angela's going to look that up, too. Can you let those people live there? No. The theory about the construction worker was hard to prove because most of the construction workers in Orlando at that time were undocumented immigrants from Mexico. So only 100 of them were interrogated due to the language barrier. Which is infuriating because you mean to tell me that you didn't have one Spanish-speaking investigator to talk to these people?
In Orlando!
Let's be real. Let's be real. Then they assume that it could have been a robbery or a carjacking. Well, that's not plausible because there's nothing of value missing except for her purse and her briefcase.
Right.
Other than that, when she left a DVD player in the car, there was jewelry in the car, there was money in the car, nothing was taken, and nothing was taken out of her home.
Right.
So that doesn't seem likely. Then we move on to Matt, her ex-boyfriend. Now, Ange, you remember that her brother had been house sitting for her with one of his friends.
Yes.
This friend that he was house sitting with is the brother of her ex-boyfriend.
Okay. This is her brother. This is the friend. This one's his brother. This is the ex-boyfriend.
So the brother of her ex-boyfriend is house sitting.
Yes. And he's the one that left his phone there and asked her, can you mail it to me?
Can you mail it to me? His name is Matt. They don't give any other information on it. We'll just leave it at Matt.
We couldn't find a picture, y'all. That could even be a fake name. What do we know? Yeah.
So Matt is upset about their breakup. But they had, again, been broken up for a year.
Over a year.
Matt was upset about their breakup. He's still heartbroken over it. He calls her all the time to tell her how much he wants her back, and like he thought that she was the one. And again, it's been a year. He was upset. He did call her the second she got back from her vacation. He was upset because he saw the photos on Facebook of their vacation, which, okay, I get it. But he did call her, and that day she came back and told her again, like, oh my God, I just want you back, blah, blah, blah. Did they check to see if she could be affiliated with anyone near the car, like a coworker or a friend? No. So it was a shadier part of town. The only thing that they did check was they asked her family and friends if she had any drug use, because they said that that area was pretty well known for drug activity. But she was not a drug user, so no. But she didn't have any friends or family or coworkers in that apartment complex over. Good question, John.
Yeah.
So Matt, here's where things get kind of weird. Matt was seen at a bar across from her complex the night she went missing.
Yep.
And patrons at the bar said that he was really drunk and really upset about these Facebook photos. Which,
my ex that I'm in love with just had a great vacation with her boyfriend,
of a year, and things
and I don't like
getting
it.
cereal. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm drinking at this bar.
So I'm
right
drinking at
by
this
her
bar
house.
right by the house. I do know the name of the bar. I don't. That's.
It's fine.
We can breeze right over that.
You can dig into that y'all
But
if you want to.
there is surveillance video of him there at the bar drinking, stupid intoxicated. They said that he walks away for a minute, but then he comes right back into frame. So they don't think that he was gone from the bar for any length of time for him to have been able to do anything. Now, we all know that bars shut down at 2 here in Florida. So where he went after 2 a.m., nobody knows. They give him the police talk to him and he offers to do a polygraph, and the police say no, they don't have enough evidence.
We just stop and look. I mean, it can't hurt. Here's the thing, you guys. Polygraphs are hit or miss anyway. If someone's offering to take one, go ahead and do it. She's missing. He was in the area. He offered to take the test. do the damn whatever. What do we know? What
How
do
do
we
I-
know?
I'm-
It's fine. 2006.
I am just going to theorize here.
Ooh, theorize.
But how do we know that, like, he didn't tell his brother, or his brother didn't tell him, like, hey, I left my phone at Jennifer's house, and he wasn't like, oh, you know what? I am right across the street at this bar over here. I'll just run and go pick it up.
Yeah.
We don't know that.
Yep. Yep.
But, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Notes. Her
Oh,
family.
yeah. Jennifer's family thinks he's innocent.
So there's that.
He was madly in love with her. He would never do anything to her. Because we all know that people who are madly in love with their spouses, significant others, you know, they don't commit murder or anything.
Never.
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 Anyway.
God.
Then we move on to Johnny Campos.
Yay.
He is the weirdest person.
He's the worst. We have a picture.
Yeah, he's the worst.
He's the worst.
Let me find his picture.
Y'all, this is a nightmare coworker.
Ah, yes.
Oh, we picked the best one.
Picked his best photo. This is Johnny Campos.
From arrest.org. He was
This
arrested.
is completely unrelated to this case.
Yes.
This just happened to be the first photo that pops up of him. Yeah. He was a coworker of Jennifer's that she frequently complained about. Mm-hmm. He made frequent passes at her, and she was constantly rejecting him. She actually got to the point where she told her dad about him, and her dad was like, here's what you do. Mm-hmm. You be polite, but you be firm, and you tell him, I don't date my coworkers, and I most certainly don't date married men, Johnny Campos. Disgusting.
Ooh.
The pig is what he is. A freaking pig. Johnny came to work late on the morning that Jennifer disappeared, and he was acting really, really nervous. He said that he got a traffic ticket, which caused him to be late for work, but they still have not verified that traffic ticket. So essentially what happens is he says that he gets his traffic ticket and he just becomes irate with the officer.
Yep.
And he becomes so irate with the officer that it warrants the officers doing a search of his vehicle and detaining him for like an hour.
Yeah. That's normal for a traffic stop.
I can tell you that I have almost gotten a ticket once. And yeah, I was
Good job.
upset.
yeah. Good job.
Yeah, I was upset,
Yeah.
but not like irate to the point where like
Man, we're going
I'm
to search your car.
flipping out.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm not acting suspicious. And then the coworkers state that he was noticeably panicked around 12 o'clock. So what this has to do with the relevance of why that is relevant to
Yes.
our case is because the video footage of Jennifer's car being moved is her car gets dropped off at 1 p.m. So my thought here is he panicked because he realizes, she didn't show up to work. Her family probably knows by now because, they had to call her family to let her know they should show up. And then what if they see her car at the complex and then they're like, oh my God, she's missing, something happened to her.
Right.
That's my thought process here, is that he's panicked because now he realizes, crap, what are we going to do?
This car needs to be moved.
But then that also led me to a lot of thoughts because nobody ever mentions that he takes a lunch break. I think they said that her job, and I unknowingly drove this the other day, but they had said that her job was about 10 minutes away from the condo complex, which it is. It's about 10, 15 minutes away. Yeah. So he would have had enough time to drive to the complex, move the car, and go back. But
within a half-hour
lunch break, and within the time frame that, because I think her parents showed up at the condo at like 2.
Yep.
So,
because the apartment manager would have already come in, checked her stuff, and car is gone. It would have already been moved afternoon, but that's when her parents called. Then they arrived at 2.
Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not saying that he did it.
No.
I'm just saying he's kind of shady.
He just looks real guilty about something.
So again, he's got a ton of suspicious behaviors. I don't I personally don't feel that comfortable about him as a person.
Oh, well, no. As a regular human being, I don't want him in my life, but, that's fine.
Again, he's a married man,
Uh-huh.
and he's consistently pursuing her, despite how many times she's like, no, I don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah.
Like, can you please just take the hint?
Well, and think for 2 seconds. This poor girl, so she gets that shit at work, and then she comes home and has the construction workers cat calling her. God.
She's tired of this crap.
Dudes.
I would be tired of this crap, too.
Dudes.
Take a hint.
Stop.
Back off.
Ugh, we don't want it's not cute.
And then another coworker, can't remember his name at this point. I want to say it's like Andrew or something. His initials are AF, so I'm going to leave it at that. AF.
Excellent.
He says that a few days before her disappearance, Johnny stated that he was upset because she went on vacation with her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. So Johnny is visibly upset at work that she went on vacation with her significant other. So upset, in fact, that he sends her an email to tell her how pissed off he is that she went on vacation.
With her boyfriend.
What is wrong with you, sir?
There's something off.
Then there's another day where the other coworker, AF, he says to Jennifer, "You look very nice today."
Uh-huh. Thanks.
And Johnny emails him and says, "Are you interested in her sexually?"
What the fuck?
What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
That escalated very quickly.
And then he says to Jennifer, "Are you two fucking?"
It's appropriate. That's totally appropriate for the workplace. Yeah, totally appropriate.
You see me sending that on my work laptop through my work email? Are you fucking her? What is wrong with you, sir?
I just tried to tell her she looked nice. She's been having a rough week.
Right. Like, obviously
She
she's
looked
having a
great.
bad week, you guys. So, I don't know. And then when she gets back from vacation, that Monday, when she gets back from vacation, Johnny, who's messaging me? Sorry. When he gets back
Y'all, we're live. Quit texting us.
from vacation, Johnny confronts her at work that Monday and tells her that he's upset that she went on vacation. And her response to her is, "Well, I'm sorry that you're upset, but I had a wonderful time."
Yeah. What else do you say to that?
Polite,
shit?
but firm.
Yeah.
So, a couple days after Jennifer's disappearance, this is the one that I hate the most.
Yeah.
A couple days after her disappearance, Johnny tells AF, they're all they're sitting in the workplace, and they're sitting in their like break room having lunch, and they're watching the news story about her disappearance, and they're all kind of discussing like, where could she be, where is she, you know, what happened to her. And Johnny says to AF, "She was likely eaten by alligators by now."
Why?
Excuse me, what?
How do you? Why?
Why would you say that?
That's not.
Why would you say that?
I mean, we're dark people, guys. We make real dark jokes.
But that is not a joke.
No, that sounds like you know something.
Right. Why would you say that? I got large question marks. Like, what is wrong with you?
Nope.
Anyway, nothing ever comes of that. When I tell you, like,
Yeah,
nothing ever comes of that. They're just like, man, he's a real suspect. He says a lot of shady shit. Let's move on.
Yep. So that's, you just take all that knowledge. We're going to move on.
Just hold that in the back of your mind there. Because that guy's a creep.
Yep.
You have David Byron Russ.
Oh, I forgot about this guy. Yeah.
He is also just an asshole.
Yeah.
So he contacts Jennifer's father after seeing her missing person information. Seminole County Jail. Sorry. Seminole County Jail hands out playing cards to inmates with missing and like murdered person's information on the cards.
That's so weird.
I mean, I guess they said that it was kind of her dad's idea.
Okay.
Because her dad had stated that in Afghanistan.
Sure. Well, they put they have the playing card decks. Yeah,
they put like different
persons of interest.
Yeah, different persons of interest for the war. They put them on the playing cards.
Yes,
so that they would become familiar with their face. And I mean, if Trevor is still
known terrorists, stuff like that.
Yeah, known terrorists. If Trevor is still like watching this, maybe you can give me some information on this because I have no idea.
Let me see. The most wanted Iraqi playing cards.
Yes. Okay. So they put them on the playing cards, and her dad got this idea from that. Her dad was like, this is probably a great way, and we'll distribute them through the jails just to see if anybody has any information. Okay. Thank you, Trevor. Kill targets.
Thank you. They have kill targets on their cards. So here they distribute them to the prison, and it's people that are missing.
People who are missing or
murdered. And then you're sitting there playing, and you're playing a game with the guy in the cell block next to you, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I got a story about that girl.
Right.
It's fucked up.
Right.
But good. It led to this.
But it leads to this guy basically reaching out to her family, and he says, hey, I recognize her. I have some useful information.
Yeah.
So investigators basically jerk targets. Yep.
Ew. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Trevor. Trevor, just so you know, your little burritos for tonight, it's the packet that has 2. Mine is the packet that has 3, and those have tomatoes in them. Feel free to eat the ones with tomatoes in them.
I don't know what's going on.
Gross. That's just wording I didn't even know about. But, yes.
Sorry. So he calls and he says, hey, I have some information. And Dad is like, hey, this is viable. Maybe we should go and like look at this. And the investigators are like, listen, this guy calls us all the time to give us tips about this cellmate that he can't stand. It's probably nothing. Don't waste your time. And her dad's like, no, we really do need to follow every lead that we get. Mm-hmm. So,
because what if, y'all? What if this?
He said that came from Jay.
Oh, thanks, Jay. So, Trevor, honey, you eat the burritos that you want. Okay.
Ooh, what happened there? Did I scroll out of it? Okay, sorry.
There you go. Good.
Jerk targets.
Andrew,
you guys
that's
are
my
cracking me up right now.
That's my brother. Hey, Andrew, thanks.
He makes accusations, but her dad's like, no, it's fine. We need to follow this.
Yeah.
But the investigators prep him with a name and say, if he says this name, then you need to just go ahead and end the interview. Okay. You need to just go ahead and end the interview. Mm-hmm. So, of course, her dad meets with David after being prepped, and he says the name of the cellmate, and her dad's like, I'm done. And this is, like, super upsetting to her family because they have nothing. They have nothing to go on. No fingerprints, no hair, no nothing.
She's just gone.
So, I don't know.
Ooh, this is our last one?
I think
Suspect?
So.
Can you pull up that weird picture I put up? Well, that's some golfer.
Yeah.
But we do get into it with the outfits. We'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when we get there. So, the construction worker. They're suspecting that it is just some construction worker. They don't know what construction worker. They're just assuming it's one of them. They actually, I'll get into this in a second. There are a couple of construction workers that have been known to work in her apartment or in her condo frequently.
Yes.
I guess because of the way the area is spread out, they have specific ones who are working on specific buildings.
Yeah.
So this construction worker thing is something that I kind of we had touched on when we like personally talked about this case, but it kind of went further in depth. There's an episode of Disappeared on Investigation Discovery.
The best channel. Everybody watch it.
Best.
It's so
Investigation
good.
Discovery is life. You can also, get Investigation Discovery on demand.
Yeah.
You can watch most of their shows on Hulu. That's where I watched this episode prior to me getting Investigation Discovery on demand.
Yes. You have to, guys.
But you have to.
Murder Channel. Come on.
So there's a show called Disappeared that they have, season 7, episode 3, called Girl Interrupted.
That's not in the notes, y'all. That's on top of her head. She's on
I think it is somewhere in here further down, but this was in my noggin. So season 7, episode 3, Girl Interrupted, is the episode about Jennifer Kesse, and they discuss the construction workers that were constantly working in her condo specifically. Right. He had been questioned, and basically he says, yeah, she came home from work one day. She let us in the condo. She was on the phone at the time that her dad was there. The construction worker says that he was there with some other guys, and Jennifer had to go back to work, and she said, the door is unlocked. Just make sure you lock it on the way out.
Mm-hmm. And she's on the phone with her dad.
She's on the phone with her dad.
Okay.
So this is what the construction worker is saying. She says the door is unlocked, lock it on your way out.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, is strange because
right.
of how, like, super conscious she is about safety.
Right.
After her dad heard this from the investigators, her dad was absolutely baffled. He's like, I was on the phone with Jennifer during this incident, and that is not what she said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He said that Jennifer never told the workers that she was leaving for work. She never told the workers to lock the door on the way out.
Yep.
She specifically waited until the workers left to leave her condo.
Yeah. Because you're just going to leave them in there with all your stuff, and you
Right.
don't know who they are, and they're
it's down
catcalling you
here.
all the time. What the hell?
It is in the
Anyway.
notes. I just had to know that.
Oh,
off the
there it
top.
is. Good job, friend.
The construction worker remains a suspect to this day. A lot of people think that he's involved somehow.
Yeah. But how? We don't know.
We don't know. I mean, I will say construction workers do go to work very early in the morning.
Well, and they were all living in that building.
Right. So we don't know.
He had
And he
access
didn't
all
say
night
whether or not
long.
he was working in that building.
Yeah.
Or living in that building.
Right, that's true.
So now I just have some fun random information on this case.
Random information.
So there is a psychic named Giono. She was featured on West 2 News in 2008. Psychics.
They pop up all during these
I
missing
know.
people cases, you guys.
When you hear us talk about more missing persons cases, you will notice that we're constantly talking about psychics. So, Psychic pops up in 2008, and if you're from Florida, you know about Trenton Duckett. So she says, I have information about Trenton Duckett, and I have information about Jennifer Kesse. I know where both of them are. So West 2,
Yeah.
being West 2, they decide they're going to do a whole article on this woman.
I mean, good on them.
Right.
Y'all, I believe some psychics are real. Some of these are out there to get your money and do whatever. You just gotta, take it with a grain of salt.
So, Giono says that Jennifer was abducted at the gas station on her way to work.
Mm-hmm.
There is a gas station there on the corner. They don't have a map itself, but in the West 2 news story, they pull up a map and they show you, like, this is where her condo is, this is where the gas station was. There is a gas station on that corner.
Right.
They said that she stopped for gas, and then the perpetrator climbed in her back seat, held her at gunpoint. And then the psychic believes that she is in a waste management manhole.
Oh.
Detectives, during the initial investigation, searched the manhole. They searched all the waste management pipes, and they searched the retention pond where all of the pipes drained into. They completely drained it, and they searched. All they found was chicken bones and sludge.
I mean, but it was 2 years later.
Exactly.
How did the psychic come forward 3 days later? After she was missing. Maybe.
Right.
She would have been
But
in there.
We're talking 2 years later.
It's gone.
Bodies decompose in water. They float, and then they go. They float, and then they bloat, and then they go.
You're a delight. Thanks, Liv.
I felt like you guys should know that.
I mean, I do. Some of them, somewhere in there, there's rigor.
Yeah, somewhere in there, there's rigor, but they float and they bloat and they burst.
That reminds me of when, what is their
If
name?
we ever make merchandise, I'm going to put that on a shirt. Float, bloat, burst.
Gross. That just reminded me of Nikki. It was when we did that read through, and Nikki's like, do you want to hear about the different ways that the galaxy's going to disappear or whatever?
Yes!
And it's like, it's gonna, not float wasn't one of them, but, bloat, poof. I'm like, oh.
Anyway, sorry
Good
that
job.
you guys had to hear all of that.
Welcome. We're not cutting that out because it's live.
No, this is live. So, dang, I should have said that in the recorded.
This is why we're friends.
So, in the following years, this is such an asshole thing that this company does.
I know.
So, in 2007, the company that she works for, Westgate Timeshares, Westgate, whatever, they offer $1 million reward for information with the stipulation that it needs to lead to her being alive. So, if you give them information and it leads to her body, you're not getting $1 million.
No.
It needs to lead to her being found alive.
God. So then why would you ever turn
Why
over
would I even
information?
bother to come forward if I know I'm not going to get any money? It sounds like they just really didn't want to give anybody any money.
Yep.
2008, Bill 502 is passed, which is the Jennifer Kesse and Tiffany Sessions Missing Persons Act.
What's that?
It basically reforms how all missing persons cases are handled in Florida because of that 48-hour time period. We all know, well, maybe you guys don't.
Yeah, y'all may not know.
You
We
may
know.
not know. We
'cause
know,
We
but
are junkies, but
You guys don't. The first 48 hours of any criminal investigation are the most crucial. If you have kidnappings that's about life insurance.
yeah.
Yes. The first 48 hours of that investigation are like the most crucial. And essentially they said that, they need to be able to kind of like get information out there about a missing person.
Yeah, because initially it was you need to wait 48 hours before we do
What's about
anything,
life
and now
insurance?
it's like you need to.
Oh, I can't search it on here. Can you search Bill 502? Oh, I can search it.
Yeah. So initially it was your person is missing. We need to wait 48 hours before we do anything about it. And now things have changed to where those first 48 hours are when you start searching and you try to find out what the hell's going on, because that's when essential shit comes forward. That's when you can check those gas station video cameras and see where they went. You can check their bank account. You can see like a digital path of where they've gone, maybe, if that stuff's in place. We're looking it up. Trevor, you said that's about life insurance? What?
Not specifically.
She
So
says
this is
not
Florida
specifically.
Senate Bill 502. It requires law enforcement agencies to have the jurisdiction to accept and file a report prior to the 48-hour time frame. Again, this is just important, as I said, because the first 48 hours are the most crucial. Typically, within the first 48 hours, if somebody is kidnapped, they are killed.
Yeah.
They don't. Despite what movies have taught you, keeping people for ransom forever and ever is not really a thing.
And there's not a whole lot of Buffalo Bills out there telling you to put the lotion on your skin. That's real rare, you guys, that they're keeping them down there for a long time to build a human suit. So, assume your person's dead.
In 2010, the FBI took over the case, and they continued to receive and follow leads on the case. Clearly, they're not doing a whole lot.
I would say 4 years after.
That's what it is.
The payout for finding her alive was
so
so
they-
they could pay less on a reward than paying more on a life insurance policy.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, baby.
Thank you.
You're so smart. Yeah.
They continue to follow leads on the case, but like I said, it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
We're not really getting anywhere, are we?
No. Well, okay, so right now we're all in quarantine, locked in our houses, yes? And that web sleuth is on point. There was a post from, a few days ago?
Yeah,
Like
people
3
are
days ago?
still actively posting on this. So if you are interested in, going on web sleuths and solving a criminal case, you do it.
You got time.
More
Live your
power
best
to
life.
you.
Become a
Sometimes that happens to me.
be a solution.
That they could not file for damages to the culprit for insurance fraud.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, you're getting to the part where I get to chime in.
Yay! No, I'm just kidding. In 2018, the Kesse family sued the Orlando Police Department so they could get the unredacted files.
God, that kills me.
Investigators reported to the family in 2010 that they exhausted all their possible leads on the case. That's why the FBI got involved, because they thought maybe the FBI could add something to the case.
Right.
The family feels that law enforcement had a crap load of time to comb through all of these files, and they found nothing.
Yeah.
Has anyone checked out the possibility of trafficking? Pretty prevalent in the South, and details might be a good interview.
Right, and the family is still open to that.
Yes,
they
the
haven't
family
crossed that out at all.
Uncle Stanley, the family is still open to the possibility of her being kidnapped for the purpose of human trafficking. When they sent things out to the jails, we touched on that, the playing cards that went out to the jails, they essentially only found like false leads. It is possible that she was sold into human trafficking.
And we'll get kind of it into the end where we're figuring out, like, where we have little theories about when this probably actually happened. Because like we were saying in the beginning, if it was a daytime, she's gotten dressed for work, she's out at her car, taken for human trafficking, less likely.
Yeah.
But if there's another time frame in place,
time frame, then it's possible.
Yeah.
Fully possible. This is the part that absolutely kills me here. There were 14,000 pages of files and video footage and all of this stuff.
so much shit.
Her parents fought for 2.5 years and paid out $19,000 to the Orlando Police Department to get this information.
Because meanwhile, you're just a family sitting there waiting and hoping that they'll keep you informed and let you know what's going on. And most of the time they don't. It's an active investigation. They can't do that.
With the kidnapper
and so
at the station doesn't add up, because why would they have taken her back to her condo unless they went inside?
Right.
That is correct, Marissa.
We agree.
So Marissa says that the kidnapper at the station doesn't add up, because why would they taken her back to the condo? That makes sense. Also, how would the kidnapper, unless the kidnapper checked her driver's license to know where she lives?
Right.
And then...
Unless the kid, I would say they'd have to follow her to the gas station before she goes to work, take the car,
and there would
bring
have
her
been
back.
some sign of struggle in either the
yeah,
car or the home. Exactly.
Where's her stuff?
Where's her stuff?
Yeah, between the gas station and home, where the hell does she go?
Just poof, disappeared. I don't know.
Ugh. But yeah, you're a family member of this. You're waiting for some kind of answers. They can't tell you anything because it's an open investigation. And then you're like, well, then close the fucking investigation. Well, if they do that and they make it a cold case,
Yes.
then you can file for the open.
Yes.
Okay, but it has to be closed, and they want to keep this
a closed
open.
Cold case.
Right,
Yes.
and they want to keep this open because they're still looking for her, and they've got the FBI involved. Anyway, so
it was just a disaster.
yeah, so
in 2009.
2019.
I'm sorry, 2019. What is wrong with me today?
It's okay.
In 2019, the Orange County Sheriff's Department receives a tip from the investigator that was hired by the Kesse family to help them search through these 14,000 pages of evidence.
God. So many pages.
A dive crew travels to Lake Fisher in Gotha, Florida. I don't know where that is.
Someone tell us. Someone
if you
tell
guys
us
know
where
where
that is.
Gotha, Gotha, Florida is, you can please let me know. But they search for several days after a cadaver dog indicates that something is found, that there's something in the lake. The tip comes from a woman who claimed that around the same time that she went missing, and I'm talking like, this woman is saying like within like 2 days of her going missing, she is out fishing at Lake Fisher when she sees a person pull up to the lake with a pickup truck and dump an 8-foot-long carpet into the water.
Who's dumping carpets into waters?
Which, hey, side note,
Yeah.
connection to the construction worker. Like maybe they're like, that's an easy thing for them. Construction workers possibly do. I just bumped the mic. I'm sorry. Construction workers possibly do have access to
Yeah.
pickup trucks
Yeah.
and they obviously have access to rugs. So
And I'm just saying, if you're dumping a rug in a lake, there's a body in that.
come on. Like,
Always report that.
But-
If you're out fishing, you see someone dumping a carpet in a lake, you call someone right then. Because this is 11 years later.
I think what also kills me is that this woman reports this to the sheriff's department and they do nothing about it. They just completely ignore that.
Yeah.
Anyway, nothing is found in the lake. But as I said, again, bodies, when they're dumped in water, they float and they bloat and they burst. Like, oh, thank you.
Y'all.
It's been a long time since,
They float, they bloat, they burst. Okay, question for you. So we talked about how, so the family had to fight to get all of this paperwork and get their own private investigator.
Mm-hmm.
So citizen or private investigators can get a lot done. That's why we have the web sleuths that we keep talking about and shit like that. And there's actually a joke meme going out right now that, like, well, it's not a joke, it's a pretty good idea, but we're all locked at home. Why don't you send all of us weirdos a cold case and let us work on that shit while we're in quarantine? Maybe
I would 100% do it.
maybe shit could get solved.
Like, if
Right?
they sent me a file on this, I would probably read all 14,000 pages.
Well, you start sitting there going, oh, maybe that's near me. How can you get on, you go, does anybody live near this? Can you send me pictures of the apartment complex? Could you walk from that to this? How long of a distance is that? Ooh, questions.
Yes, John and Joey.
Yeah.
Yes, the whole dumping in the lake thing would go with the coworkers say that she was eaten by the alligators. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 100% here.
Yep.
That is the creepiest thing.
I hate that guy.
I hate this guy. I can't stand him, honestly. Oh no, what have I done?
Don't do it again. We'll find it. She'll get it back up.
I got it. I got it.
While we're doing that, okay, so anyway, private investigators, aside from citizen sleuths, these are all citizen sleuths. Guys, if you're here listening to us talk, you've probably watched some wonderful titles such as Don't Fuck with Cats, maybe The Keepers, or The Pharmacist. They're all on Netflix.
Yes.
These are all wonderful series that involve citizen sleuths trying to solve crimes, specifically cold cases.
Right.
And I've got, John Green and Deanna Thompson from Don't Fuck with Cats.
I want them to solve any investigation that involves me.
Y'all, anything.
If I ever go missing, they're the ones that you need to call.
My other favorite ones are Gemma Hoskins and Abby Schaub from The Keepers. That's the one with the nun that was murdered. And then you
really
find
good
out
case.
all about the girls at that school that were being molested. It just goes, and they're still doing great work.
Yeah.
They were apparently at CrimeCon, I think 2 years ago.
Right.
And everybody's going up to them going, are you the little old ladies that are trying to solve the nun killing? And they're like, yes, we are. And here's some information. Please take these flyers.
Yeah.
And then Dan Schneider from The Pharmacist. Another citizen that the cops' work wasn't getting done, so he started calling people to solve if they were around or saw anything when his son was shot during a drug deal.
Granted, he annoyed the shit out of these people in this neighborhood.
He harassed the crap out of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what's your thought on citizen sleuths? Yeah? And private investigators, yeah?
I like the idea to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Joey knows that when I was researching this case, I spent far too long on it. I think I researched this case for probably about 7 hours.
Y'all, she texted the group and said, I really don't think there's that much about this one. And then shortly after I went down a rabbit hole. I'm lost. This is going to be a lot of information.
Yeah, it was like 1:30 in the morning when I sent that message. I was just going, finding websites and looking at things, and like my brain was just firing.
Yep.
And I think that's like kind of where like the web sleuth idea comes in, where like people are really actively working to figure these things out. Yeah. Do I think at times it takes a turn that it doesn't need to? Yes, which is precisely why when we were talking about the suspects and the persons of interest in this case, we said we're not trying to solve this case. We don't know what happened.
Please don't go out and try to
Please
find these
don't
people
go out
on
and try to find
Facebook.
these people. Don't do that. And I think that's kind of where it takes a turn for the worse. Like I said, with the people on Don't Fuck with Cats, they caused an innocent person to commit suicide because they tormented him.
Yeah. Well, in the meanwhile, you're a private citizen getting involved. That guy on Don't Fuck with Cats had a video following that woman at work. Yeah. And it's like, you're inviting this shit and you're not a cop. What do you know?
On the pharmacist when he like harassed the shit out of those people, which almost cost them their star witness. Like he harassed her and her family so much that she almost chose not to testify.
Yep.
So do I think it can do some good? Yes. Do I think it can do a lot of harm? Definitely.
Yep. So just if y'all want to get involved, there is a public Facebook group called Help Find Missing Jennifer Kesse, and you can join and share any information, especially if you're local to the area, especially Orlando and that time frame, and you were here. Please get in there and start. If you know something, please say something.
Marissa said that also false tips or not well researched information can waste police resources, so be sure before you report. That is extremely true. I know on Don't Fuck With Cats, the information that they were receiving at certain points was like a couple of days or a couple of weeks behind what the actual where the actual killer was, and you're wasting resources in those communities.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh. There were a lot of questions that we both stumbled upon, and I don't know, Ange, now that we've refreshed our brains on this information, I don't know if you have any new questions, or if you guys have any questions or about anything, like now that we're kind of done with the bulk of the story.
Yeah, because it's not solved. We don't have a crime, like we don't have a, court case to talk about.
Nothing.
We don't have anybody arrested.
So if you guys have any more questions, you can like pop them into the feed, and I'm like watching. We're consistently watching.
Please.
What's being said.
Also, tell us your favorite quarantine snack that you've eaten lately. Mine was plantain strips with Frank's Red Hot sauce. It's so good.
Angela eats some questionable shit.
Look, as a high schooler, I used to get a bowl of the goldfish crackers, and then you just pour hot sauce on that, stir it up, and eat it with a spoon.
So here are some questions that I had when I was researching things.
She hates me.
They mentioned that her brother's friend, who is also the brother of her ex-boyfriend, he left his phone at the condo. A lot of people ask what happened to that phone. That was a question that I had.
Yes.
That phone and Jennifer's phone were never found. Jennifer's mom actually reported that when police attempted to locate the two phones, both phones were powered off at the same time.
So did she do that? Yeah. Did the suspect do that? Did they get thrown in the toilet and flushed down together? Like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, what happened to the phones? Jennifer's family states that it was reported that there was a mug that was in her dish rack, but nothing else left out. Just this mug in the dish rack. When I say that families know a lot of things about people, this is intense. Like, I don't know if my parents would know this much about me. Well, that's true. That's not true. My parents know I love coffee and tea. Let's not lie. Like,
this one specifically. We'll give them this.
Yes, but this, her family said that they thought the mug in the dish rack was strange. Where did they go on vacation again? St. Croix.
Ooh, maybe someone followed her from the airport. Maybe someone else on the plane. Well, she did. Okay, so they got home from vacation. She went to her boyfriend's house in Fort Lauderdale, spent the night.
And then
So she left the next morning at like 5 a.m. to get to work by 8 a.m. So she would have been with him in Fort Lauderdale, and her house is in Orlando. So
I mean,
they'd have to really stalk her, sure.
But they were like really, really stalking.
Yeah.
Jennifer's family said they found the mug in the dish rack strange because she doesn't like hot beverages.
Bless this girl.
Now, Marissa said, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Now, I will say that, like, in our process of moving for, like, the first day that we were here, we literally drank everything out of coffee mugs. But
yeah.
Jennifer, being the kind of person she is, she's not that kind of person. Like, she is on top of everything. So I can't imagine that she's like, I don't have any cups in my house.
Right.
It is a weird thing that her parents chose to point out, but her parents thought that it led to the idea that she possibly had somebody over who had some tea or some coffee or something.
And let's take a minute. The ex-boyfriend who is still in love with her was at a bar across the street. If he was really drunk, maybe she gave him coffee to make him sober?
Yeah, to sober him up really quick, and then... Man.
Theories, thoughts, ideas. Okay.
The theory is that Jennifer went missing in the morning. If that was the case, then I question why her cell phone and her brother's friend's cell phone were turned off.
Right.
Jennifer always calls people. She doesn't seem like the kind of person who would turn her cell phone off at night.
Mm-hmm.
I question it. Seems shady to me.
Yep.
I also have a lot of weird questions here that can pop into our theories. Yeah. Was her abductor, attacker already in the home? If it was one of the construction workers,
yeah,
it's possible that they could have already been in the home.
Mm-hmm.
If she was abducted at night, my next thought is, were we dealing with an attacker that was so calculated that they would have planned everything out to a T, turning the cell phones off, the wet towel on the floor, making sure she had clothes laid out, leaving makeup laid out, and then doing all of these things without leaving a single shred of evidence.
Yeah, that's and they always say the easiest answer is usually the right answer. That is so complicated.
Yeah.
That is Golden State Killer level kind of stalking and then figuring out her way of doing stuff and knowing exactly what shit to make happen to make it look a certain way. We'll see.
I mean, to be fair, leaving makeup out, leaving a towel out, things like that.
Everybody does that.
Joey could spew a bunch of makeup on the counter and everybody'd be like, yep, that Flip did her makeup.
Yeah, Flip did her makeup. It's so bad. He leave in the middle of the living room floor. He's like, yeah, Flip was doing her makeup on the floor.
Yeah, but so still. I then, again, we talked about the manager at her office who got pulled over for speeding, and he was irate both with the officer and then when he got to work. Like, it's not difficult to call your job and be like, hey, I'm late.
Yeah.
Because I got a speeding ticket.
Yeah, I'm on my way. But he didn't let anybody know that he was going to be late. Mm-hmm. So clearly the coworkers thought that his behavior was so strange that it needed to be reported to the authorities. Yep.
The video footage, I said that was extremely deliberate.
Yes.
The driver spent a decent 30 seconds of this video making sure the car was perfectly parked in a parking spot.
Y'all take some time later and count out 30 seconds. It's a good amount of time. It seems like nothing. It's a good amount of time.
What's the motive there? Motive with
which one?
Which one? The boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend, or the coworker?
Sorry, it's a delay. We're sorry.
Yeah, there's a slight delay, 40 seconds of a delay. Well, I'm waiting for that comment to pop back up. Yeah, there you go. There's a decent amount of time that's again, why was it so deliberate?
To move the car.
He literally,
what was the motive there to move the car?
To move the car.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Right. But I guess the idea that the police are toyed with was that they wanted to make it seem like she had left on her own.
Right. Like she got all her shit and left for work, took the car, and went about her day. That's the only motive I can think of.
That's the only reason that I could see to move a vehicle, to make it seem like she left on her own free will. I just think that that's a lot of time. And I mean, I don't back into spots all the time.
Yeah.
But when I back in,
I never do.
I'm not spending 30 seconds backing in and then pulling out to straighten up and then backing back in. This person backed into the spot, then came out, straightened up, backed back in the spot, then went out, straightened up again, and backed back into the spot. I don't personally take that long to back my car into a spot. If I'm crooked, I'm crooked, But this person was very deliberate about this. And then, again, they waited 32 seconds before they got out of that vehicle to wipe down that entire vehicle. Only to have missed one small, tiny little fingerprint.
Right.
My other questions to that is when you think about the vehicle being moved and you talk about the coworker, maybe because they were still drunk.
Look. I know, right?
I don't know, I'm going to tell you right now that Angela and I, our two favorite suspects here are someone just has a compulsive disorder. That's true.
Marcy chiming in hot.
I'm going to let you know that
We gotta
Angela
make it
and
real
I,
serious.
our favorite suspects here are the creepy coworker and the ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
I think they let him off real easy.
For sure. For sure. Okay, hold on. Which car video was it? Someone posted a link.
I can't remember. I have the links in the
You're
the
good.
Google Docs
We'll get
that I
them out
sent
there.
you. But we will post all the links and all the videos and everything
Thank you.
in the comments.
Yes.
So that you guys can watch all the videos. There's been cases, at least carjacking or something like that, of people hiding in cars and waiting for people. Nobody checks the back seat, especially early in the morning or getting to work. I guess my only qualm with that would be, again, there's nothing missing from the vehicle, and I didn't point this out earlier, and I probably should have. The officers were able to basically get the mileage from her home to...
That's us.
Okay. The officers were able to get the mileage from her home to her job, her home to the apartment complex where her car was found, her home to like a gas station that was near her, and then her home to her boyfriend's condo. And basically having all of that information, they determined that her vehicle that morning was only driven from her home to the apartment complex where it was found.
Yep.
So while a carjacking is possible, it doesn't necessarily, they don't find that to be necessarily likely. Also, if it was a carjacking, again, we're saying that there's no sign of any kind of struggle in the vehicle.
Yeah. You would think at some point someone would, hit a steering wheel, kick something gets thrown, there's fingerprints fucking everywhere.
Yeah, and there's none. There's no blood evidence in the car. There's nothing in the vehicle at all. I think Ange just posted that video in the comments if you guys want to watch it.
Yeah, check that out while you listen to us.
Again, why the heck are we not questioning these Mexican workers? Why are we not finding
why can't
somebody
we find a
who speaks
translator?
Spanish?
It's not that
You
hard
are
to find a
telling me that
translator.
there is not one single person who speaks Spanish on the police force that you can ask. That just seems like a huge oversight.
A little bit.
Then, we think about the security alarm, which makes me think that maybe she did let somebody in her apartment or in her condo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe a drunk boyfriend let him in, gave him coffee.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But she always sets the alarm.
And the phones are turned off.
And the phones are turned off.
Yep.
She is not so tired that she is not setting her alarm. It's a daily thing for her. Law enforcement waited an obscene amount of time to let a lot of information about this case out. We're talking 16 months before a lot of information is put out to the public. And then they told her family not to release information.
Yeah. Because
they felt like if they had released information, then, the killer would be able to hide certain things. There was tons of evidence in really strange places. The towel, some people say, some reports from law enforcement say the towel was found on the floor. Then other reports from law enforcement will say the towel was found in the washing machine or something.
did we find that photo account through Web Sleuths?
Yeah. We stumbled upon a
photo bucket account.
Photo bucket account where they had the crime scene photos, but in the crime scene photos they show that the towel is on
in the
on
sink.
the sink,
kind of just folded
just
up on top of the
tossed
sink.
on the sink.
Yeah. I'm posting a link to y'all's Web Sleuthy stuff there. If you're really into it, dig in there and find it. We're not going to post a link to that album for you. Sorry.
I will not do that. If you really want to find that album, it's not. I can tell you, it's not even in Web Sleuths.
No,
it's a completely different.
You gotta
website.
dig.
You gotta dig deep. I just again think that maybe the timeline is just a little skewed here. I think that an abduction in the morning doesn't seem right. Now, I'm gonna watch. I love these kinds of real life mysteries. It's sad we even have these things happen. That is very, very true, Yvonne. Like,
that's true.
I don't know what. I think there was a lot of oversight here, and I think, unfortunately, a lot of things slipped through the cracks.
Yeah.
And a lot of people slipped through the cracks, and I 100% think that one of those construction workers had to have seen something.
Yep.
I mean, they're out there every single day, and this is a girl that you're catcalling every single day, and they all knew which one she was.
Yeah.
So they had to have known that she was missing.
Yep.
Well,
and that's one, like you were talking about, the nighttime abduction. Okay, so all of her stuff, she came back home. Okay, she stayed at her boyfriend's. She went to work. She came home from work, so she's got her bag. She has to unpack her shit. So she lays out her makeup and stuff for the next morning. She goes ahead and takes a shower with a wet towel. Maybe the brother and that friend used the mug, and that's why it's there.
Yep.
She hadn't set her alarm yet. Someone came over, took the phones, dumped them in water, whatever, got rid of them. So her phones are off. They haven't set the alarm. They friggin' do something with her and take her work stuff in her purse to make it look like she's gone. She's already still in her outfit from work that day. So that covers the shoes and the outfit. And then the next day, they just go move the car.
Right.
That's all that's left. Because
Right.
we don't know when the parents called the property manager to go over and check if she was there. We don't know if that alarm was set or not.
Joey said that construction could be at her apartment complex as early as 5 a.m.
Yeah.
That is possible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we're talking like really, really early in the morning, this is the middle of January. So we're in Florida. January generally, we're still dark at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's possible that nobody else would have even seen anything.
Yep.
If it is one of the construction workers. A lot of people had said that, and again, in the deep, deep, dark corners of Web Sleuth, they do have people who have gone to the condo, who have walked the area, walked up and down the stairs near her condo. I could certainly find all of this information. I'm not going to, because first of all, a little bit much for me, and also I don't want to put that information out there.
Nope. If you're really into it, you can go get into it. And we saw people asking things like, does anybody know who the neighbors were at the time? Does anybody know, the measurements
can
of
we
this?
map it out? There are people on the internet literally asking to create 3D maps of her apartment.
Yeah, they're trying to solve it.
In regards to the construction worker, Joey said that if the construction worker could have seen something, it sounds like the window is between 2 and 5 a.m. I 100% agree with that. I'm going to read it on this one because that one cuts off.
Yes, that's fine.
So John said that in regards to a construction worker, it'd make sense because a higher level construction manager or something would have various access to alarm systems, and it would make sense to have a scent on a bush outside, seeing as to how they'd be working outside. That is very true. And I think that's something, when we first discussed the case, that Joey pointed out as well. It makes sense for a construction worker to have been out there and have done something, and they have access to her condo all the time.
Ooh, pull up that picture again.
Which one?
The one of the suspect, because if you look at what they're wearing,
that's not the suspect.
That's not him.
That was spook.
That's
Sorry.
not him. This is when I found that it's just an idea of, like, it's clearly someone wearing a golf outfit, but it's one of those, think of people in painters jumpers, like it's all
very similar
white
to that. So this is about
black
as close to that
shoes.
image as you're gonna get, but yeah, looks like khaki pants.
Yeah, trying to figure out an outfit. Is it a dude? Is it, khaki pants and a white shirt? Is it an all white outfit?
Looking at it and squinting my eyes, kind of looks like overalls, like painters overalls.
Right. Construction dickies. Is it? What if there's a khaki dickies? I don't know.
I don't know.
So yeah,
This foremen and engineers usually have master keys for both. That is true. I don't know. You guys are bringing up some really good points here. I'm just trying to say that I like the ex-boyfriend and the coworker who's really creepy about the alligators. So I had another theory.
Yes.
That possibly the creepy coworker who's out here, like, I mean, he could be stalking her. Leah.
Hey, Leah.
She says it looks like a painter.
Right.
It does.
I know it does.
I was going to say that the creepy coworker, if he's out there like stalking her and he sees these dudes, and okay, we talked about how these are illegal immigrants. The construction workers basically had said like they have no idea who these people are. They don't have the companies, and they had the construction company up on Web Sleuths. I did not go into that because again,
No,
I don't want to
dig that deep. I want to give you guys the basics.
The company that was doing the construction on the condos, they had said that they had no background information on any of these workers. They basically just picked people off the street who wanted to do construction work
And put them to work.
put them to work, and they said that like 1 week it would be one person and the next week it could be a completely different guy. So my thought here is the creepy coworker, he is stalking her. I mean, he's her manager, so he knows, he has a lot of information on her. I mean, HR, my management, they all know where I work or where I live. So they have a lot of information on her. He's able to find out where she lives, and maybe he follows her home.
I mean, he knows from social media where she is.
He knows from social media where she is. I mean,
Y'all put your shit on private.
Yeah.
And, like, if you have a creepy coworker stalking you, don't add
Why
them
would
as
you
a
add
friend
them as a
on
friend on
Facebook.
But you walk up to an illegal immigrant worker who's making significantly less than other workers with them, and you say, hey, dude, I'll give you $200 if you put this carpet in your truck and dump it somewhere for me.
Yeah. Or, hey, at noon, I need you to move this car.
That seems kind of likely to me. Also, again, if it's another construction worker, it's very easy. 2006.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
that is very true.
Facebook had only been on. Me and Marcy were just talking about this because one of my neighborhood groups, some lady was like, well, I've been on Facebook for a couple years. I think I know how this works. And I was like, woman, I've been on since 2004. Sam Houston State was the second school to get approved for Facebook. You had to have a university email address to access it. Oh my God. So I've been on Facebook for quite a while. I've seen all the changes. I know how it works. I know what privacy settings are. Just set your privacy settings. But anyway.
But that is true. You know, back then we didn't really know any better.
And y'all, I'm sorry. We got to wrap this up because I got to pee.
Oh, jeez.
No pressure. No pressure. This whole White Claw, it was delicious. It is completely gone.
Wow.
So, y'all, but in the comments, seriously, who do you think, like, out of the people we've mentioned, what do you think? If you have any other theories, too, what do you think?
Yeah, for real.
Because I know quite a few people have mentioned sex trafficking, and especially in Orlando, in that area, with the access
Pretty common.
to, you know, come on. And then
Sex trafficking is a huge thing here in Florida.
coworker,
The
ex-boyfriend.
coworker, the ex-boyfriend who was across the street, whose brother left his phone at her apartment. This reminds me of the playwright we were talking about, who was killed by the construction worker in her building. I forgot what show it was. Oh,
Is that you? Hold on.
Gosh. I can't remember who that was, but we did have this conversation, didn't we?
Yes. And her.
Okay. But yeah, so you know, the ex-boyfriend across the street is still drunk. It would make sense by
Adrian Shelley.
Yeah, I think
Is that the one, Adrian Shelley?
It would make sense that that person would be if they're still drunk at you know 12 o'clock in the afternoon, because it happens. That person would be really fumbly with a vehicle.
Yep.
I don't know if that person would be calculated enough at that point to wipe down a car. But
yeah,
I mean, we're also looking for somebody who smokes, and because they in the video footage they said the person lit up a cigarette. So no prints on the mug. No, it was washed. It was clean. I don't know. My thoughts here, whoever did this had to obviously have, I'll get back to you once I remember, okay? Whoever...
I think I found Adrian Shelley. I killed Adrian Shelley, a teenage Ecuadorian construction worker, admitted that he killed her. Adrian Shelley was an actor who made her mark in films by Hal Hartley.
Oh, Marissa says yes.
Yeah, look, I Googled.
Clearly this person had knowledge of the neighborhood and her complex.
Yeah.
especially to know. Also, an ex-boyfriend might have a security code or an old key. Okay,
Ooh.
so other things that I think maybe we should point out here. This is 2006. This building is just being built. So the building she is in was just built. Depends on how long she's been there. They'd been broken up for a year. Yeah, and she had just moved in to that complex, so he probably wouldn't have had a key.
That's true.
So he, yeah. This apartment complex is just being built.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of apartment complexes have a front gate. This complex had a front gate, but it was left open at all times.
Right.
Because construction workers and landscapers were coming in and out constantly.
Yeah.
There was pepper spray is weird. Someone must have grabbed her when she went to the mail after her vacation. That is possible.
Because keys and pepper spray, what would you take with you? Yes.
Her dad did mention that it was strange that her pepper spray was missing from the apartment complex. Because she had always had one in the complex and one on her keys.
Yep.
But there was no pepper spray in the complex or in the apartment.
Mm-hmm. And for anybody coming in late, there was a day, like a week earlier, where she had been walking by the office, went in and it seemed like she was just trying to avoid somebody. Mm-hmm. And if she was, let's say, going to check her mail with her pepper spray and her key, and she was trying to avoid a construction worker that she was being harassed by and felt was creepy, and just, that's possible.
Yeah. Where was I on that? I just lost my train of thought. I went
Gone. Your thought train
my thought train derailed.
What was that? Your thought train.
Yeah, I'd say your thought train is derailed.
There you go. There's a line from
Throwback.
a play in there. There's a line from a play in there. Hold on.
So again, the gate didn't close ever. They did ask about like key cards and stuff, like if the complex was able to tap. Like, if the complex was able to keep track of who tapped the key card, but again, the gate didn't shut. So,
right.
There were no video cameras in the complex whatsoever.
Not yet.
They had not been installed yet. Where her condo is, the apartment manager said they were not able to see,
like from the office,
anything that was going on. Again, they had it.
Did you hear that?
I did. I got pepper spray right there, so. There's
a weird ghost. There's something in here.
All right. There. I don't know.
I don't know. It's fine.
Then, Joey did step out for.
Oh, it's the door.
God,
Jesus
it's Joey.
Christ.
You scared the crap out of us.
Hi. Thanks. Throws his hair. Yes. Spooky.
Yeah. There's no cameras. There's no way to track who's coming in and out. Were there priors on any of the suspects, especially the old boyfriend or the coworker? I think the boyfriend had a not the boyfriend, the
coworker.
The coworker had
because there's a reason we have that mugshot.
That mugshot. So let's look it up. Why not?
What was his name again?
Johnny.
Tori?
Johnny. Hold on, I got to scroll all the way back up to the top.
It's not Johnny Rockets, and it's not Johnny Depp.
Well, Johnny Rockets.
This is all in my Google.
Johnny Campos.
Campos.
Yeah, there's a reason. But the ex-boyfriend, no, he did not have any priors. The current boyfriend, no. The construction worker, the construction worker, and this is something that I learned in the episode, and I'm glad that you guys brought up the construction worker. The construction worker had a prior charge for, and the only reason why he was brought in again on this case, he had a prior charge and a new charge after her case where he had sexually assaulted a woman.
Yeah.
So he had one prior charge of sexual assault and then one charge after her disappearance of sexual assault. Which everybody thinks that he's the main suspect here. Everybody thinks that he's the one who did this.
Jeez Louises. There's the car.
It's real suspect.
Y'all look this up. There's a ton of photos out there. Okay. Construction workers, car driver, explorer, Johnny Campos. Here we go. One of the unfortunate creeper, Johnny. Look, all those keywords.
Let me look him up really quick. Johnny Campos, Orlando.
Adam. It was Adam, not Andrew. Adam.
Adam, there
the
you
coworker.
go. Unfortunately, I mean, me looking this up is like...
Sorry, all.
My vote goes for the construction worker. Yeah, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
I think the construction worker with the prior investigations and prior arrests for sexual harassment and sexual battery seems a likely suspect to me. Just so you know, a lot of people have asked in web sleuths and stuff, they've asked about her brother. Her brother is pissed. Like, her brother is...
Put up that family photo.
Oh, yeah. Her brother is pissed about this. Like, not sure if this was covered. Did they ever find... No, they never found the rug in the lake.
Nope. Nothing was found.
I don't know why or how they never found the rug in the lake. I don't know if maybe whoever it was... Well, I mean, after the coworker made that comment about the alligator,
right?
I don't know if, he went back afterwards and he was like, crap, Yeah. I can't believe I made this comment. But on the screen right now, you got our family there. Wow, that is a really early 2000s photo with the frosted tips and
the quality of the shot in general. Wow. That got developed at your local...
that got developed at your local CVS.
Yep. Jeez.
Wow.
I'm not good at this. I couldn't find it.
Was Jennifer Kesse? Huh?
You guys already ran 2 hours.
Yeah, I know.
Well, people have been talking and engaging with us.
People have been talking and engaging with us, and we've had a lot to talk about here today.
Yeah.
Part about doing this.
Okay, good.
Let me see if I can find them. I'm gonna... Angela,
While you do that, 2 seconds. So one of the things I talked with her about was the Florida Sunshine Law. There was a thing going around, I don't know, last year or whatever, where you search for Florida man and see all the Florida man shit that pops up. And that's because we have the Florida Sunshine Law established in 1995, and it's a series of laws designed to guarantee that the public has access to public records of government of the government bodies in Florida. So public records include all documents, papers, letters, maps, books, tapes, photographs, films, sound recordings, data processing software, or other material, regardless of physical form or characteristics or means of transmission, made or received pursuant to the law, blah, 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 blah. So that's why...
blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Now, the thing is, that's when the case is closed. You can have access and you can request that. And according to that law, any person in Florida can request public documents and a purpose does not have to be stated. Records can be used in any way that person wants to, and the law does not specify a specific response time. So if y'all have listened to, it's called Up and Vanished, one of those podcasts, he's out of Georgia. Their public request laws allow for them to say, no, we don't want to release these things to you. Yes, the case is closed, but we don't feel like you deserve to have, this paperwork right now. And he was searching a case that was cold and gone, and it was requesting information for documents that he could use on the podcast, such as audio recordings of some of these interviews with suspects, and they weren't giving him those. Here, her family asked for this information, but because the case was not closed yet, they weren't given that information, and they had to go through and sue in order to get that information to give it to their private investigator. That was one of my fun fact tidbits. Hope that was interesting.
Johnny Campos was arrested in Lake County for resisting arrest without violence and refusal to sign a citation. So obviously this is not this man's first time with this. Oh,
he's not good at this. When was that? That was right before.
That was right before her disappearance.
That was January 16th, 2006. He was arrested for that. And then she went on when?
January
23rd. Don't touch your face.
Don't touch my face!
I've been touching my face this whole time. Don't touch your face. Y'all.
Hold up. So because you guys, have me dig into this, because, Joey's over there making himself comfy. Don't mind him. because you guys had me dig into this because, you know, you guys are playing Web Sleuth right now. Oh, yes, thank you. Hand sanitize it up, y'all. Keep it clean. Because you guys had me dig into this, of course, now I had to go and search Johnny Campos to figure out where we got this lovely mugshot of him from. This lovely mugshot of him is from Lake County. He was arrested on January 16th, 2006 for refusal to sign a citation and resisting arrest without violence, which is what he said he was late for on the 23rd.
Yep.
So I guess maybe that's why that speeding ticket from the 23rd couldn't be confirmed, because it was from a whole fucking week prior.
Jesus.
Look what y'all did.
Oh, stop it. We're supposed to just give you a basic overview.
And then you
Now we're
made me
digging
get
into
nosy.
shit. Now look, now she's gonna go
Yeah, now I'm gonna
start
go on
measuring
web sleuths.
things. She's gonna be like, can someone send me the number of the condo, please?
Yeah, can I have a 3D model of the complex that
Oh,
she wrote them?
Jesus.
I'm actually going to build it myself. I'm going to build a 3D scale model of the complex. Joey's like, you got free time.
Look. I did want to tell y'all, on the 12th anniversary of Jennifer's disappearance in January, the Orlando police announced a renewed effort to find out what happened to her, revealing a Lynx bus wrapped with an image of her face and offering a $15,000 reward for information. At a press event in front of the newly wrapped Lynx bus, which happened a year after the first public records request by the family was made, Logan Kesse publicly asked the department to hand over its records and said, "We want to be able to have our own investigators handle the files like it should be." Woo. So, yeah.
Logan is one tough cookie.
Jesus, can you imagine?
He appeared visibly upset last year at the 14-year... Or this year, right?
This year. Yeah, what had just happened.
This year at the 14-year anniversary, he appeared visibly upset with the Orlando Police Department for their mishandling of this case, and he's tired, man.
Yeah.
He's just trying to figure out what happened to his sister, and I think he's just kind of pissed, as anybody should be.
Yep. God.
All right, if you guys have any other theories on this case, any questions that you have for us, anything else that you guys want us to look up, drop it in the comments. These live streams do get saved. We don't delete them or anything, so they're always here for you guys. If you want to re-listen to anything, if you joined late and you missed the beginning half of the podcast where we kind of explain all of our suspects and where our theories came from at the end, you can go right back to the beginning and re-listen to this entire thing. Again, in the comments, we dropped the links to both of the YouTube videos for the West 2 news story on the psychic and the video surveillance footage. And if you guys really, really, really want to see more of these pictures that we personally have on here, you guys can, drop a comment. We can drop them into the comments.
Yeah.
You guys can
Ask for what you want. If
slide into our DMs.
Yeah, you can ask for anything. It doesn't mean we'll give it to you, but you can sure ask.
You can definitely ask.
Maybe we'll say yeah.
Or you can, go on Web Sleuth or
yeah, you can do your own research.
JenniferKesse.com, I think it is, and you can look for the Photo Bucket account. It was kind of scary to me to look at. I got a little uncomfortable.
Y'all, she pulls it up and goes, I don't know how I should feel about this.
Yeah, because now I can't unsee it. So
that's the other thing with some of these guys. Once we start looking into it, it's a choose your own adventure on, do you want to see crime scene photos? Do you want to see dead bodies, especially with some of these older cases?
Yeah.
When they just took photos of everything and it's all out there. So it's up to you on how deep you want to dig and what you want to get into. I know a lot of my friends that are on here aren't as crazy into true crime as I am, so this is a nice dabble for you just listening to us talk about it. Once you get into the interwebs and you start diving in, you find some weird shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. And
that's it.
Do you have any fun things to tell me about your week?
I'm addicted to Crocs, the shoes. So I bought... Here's the thing. I've got friends in the theater that were wearing Crocs, and I was like, okay, I think I want some Crocs.
So she bought.
So
Did
I
you
went
just
on
take your
Poshmark.
crock off the show?
I went on Poshmark and I bought myself my first pair of Crocs, and these are great because I'm a cleaning lady, and when I clean houses, sometimes my shoes get wet because I'm cleaning bathrooms and stuff. And they dry, and then I can also just wash these off in the tub like at the end of every day and bleach them, and they're clean and ready to go, and my toes don't get funky, and it's great. So Crocs right now is having a half off of their clearance sale on their website, and I was going to get 3 pair of them for $50 total, and something went wrong with my order, so I have to call them tomorrow. But I was very excited.
That's good.
That's my joy. How about you? What's going on?
We spent the weekend having spooky. Well, it was supposed to be spooky Saturday, but really it was just stressed out for no frickin' reason Saturday.
Oh.
Where I watched Joey and John, who's in our comments here.
Hi, John.
Mad active, y'all. Play Resident Evil 2. And I had to be scared by zombies all weekend.
Timely.
Till
Get your blood going.
damn near 5 o'clock in the morning.
Whoa.
It's a late night. Early morning, late night, whatever. But yeah, so that's what I spent my weekend doing.
Yay.
All of us collectively screaming at once when things dropped down from the ceiling.
Oh. Okay, y'all. So as of right now, Florida's not on a lockdown. We feel safe being in the same area together recording. We're not touching each other. We're not sharing food. We're not doing that. We're clearly hand sanitizing and doing our best. If Florida goes on a lockdown, we still want to do these things on Sundays at this time. And we would like to have you join us. We're trying to figure out the technology to make that happen. If I need to do it from my house and she's here, and Joey's got us. He knows what the hell we need to do. So we're good. And we'll keep you updated with all of that. So make sure that you are on our Facebook feed, especially if you're watching it here live, and that you've gone up to the top and you are, following? Subscribing.
You can subscribe to our videos.
Get notifications.
So that you can get notifications every time we post a video. This is not YouTube, so there's no link in the bell or whatever. There's nothing like that to click.
Yes,
but
if you want to be real fancy, go on your Facebook. There's that little, it's a 3 little bar thing. Anyway.
It looks like the Wi-Fi symbol.
It says following. Tap on that, and most of them says default. Click on see first. It can't hurt you. We post some fun shit in here too. Memes and little upcoming images and stuff like that. Put us as a see first. That way you get some notifications first.
So you guys can get our notifications. Like I said, in this video, typically in the first top of the comments, they'll say subscribe to Crush and Press to receive notifications when we go live.
Yeah.
Other than that, all of our social media is dropped right there underneath the videos of our faces.
If you haven't noticed, it's right there.
It's right there. So we've got our Facebook, our Instagram, our Discord, and our Twitter account all dropped down there. Make sure you follow us, like us on all of those social media things.
Tell us how much you love us.
Yeah, sometimes we post funny stuff there too.
Yay.
Twitter is my thing. So if you talk to me on Twitter, I will 100% respond to you on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not there.
Angela has the Instagram. She'll respond to you on there.
Yeah.
So,
I got that.
And Discord, that's all of us.
Yes.
Joey might even respond to you on Discord.
Yeah.
You,
We're working on making individual threads depending on the cases of the...
ooh, that is true.
Okay.
We are working on making individual threads on Discord, right? Depending on the cases, so that if you guys do have Discord and you have more specific questions, or if you want to have discussions with us about any of these cases, what'd you say?
Links, videos.
Yeah, links, videos, all that kind of stuff will be dropped into Discord, and you guys can have full-on discussions with us through Discord.
Yeah.
And depending on how strict this quarantine gets, we might be hosting full-on chats in Discord.
Yeah.
You guys also feel free to ask us any questions that you want to know about us too.
We are people.
You guys can get to know
We got
us.
complex lives and stuff.
I do stressful things and just stressful things.
Lots of stressful things, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're learning a little bit about us through this. Like when you saw my brother pop up and I said, ooh, that my brother. You now know I have a brother.
But if you have any other questions, feel
Yeah.
free. We might do a Q&A one day just for fun.
Yeah, send us questions that we can answer in a Q&A episode. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Do that.
If you guys have any specific cases that you want us to look into,
Do that too.
do that. I think that's really it.
That's it. Thanks for joining us, and we wanted to give a last shout out. Thank you to the Last Electric Rodeo Band for allowing us to use their song Bronze Age of Horror in the end of this episode. You can find more of their music at thelastelectricrodeo.com. Hold on. And now, a final thought
From
Joey. You have to get up here.
You have to get up here and do your final thought.
He's coming with the most dramatic
He's sitting
sigh
in the
I've ever
beanbag chair and
heard.
he's mad uncomfortable, y'all.
I'm not ready for these.
You need to do.
You
come
need
on.
to be ready for
Come
them.
on. Tell us your final thought.
This is why the coronavirus happened. Look at him. Why are you eating bats?
Why are you eating
God. We're
Is he
done.
Batman or is he Man-Bat?
Oh,
The world
no.
may never know.
No.
Bat eating man.
You're bat eating man. Go away.
Stop.
This is terrible.
Stop.
Now we're gonna go get some twice baked potatoes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat now.
Bye.
Peace out, y'all.
There's a house up on Haunted Hill where the Bronze Age monsters go to chill. Now golden and silver age are not to be spited. I'm sorry to say, but she's just not invited. Monster Mash is a thing of the past. To get into this body, you need no glass. A jukebox is never out of order. We are the Bronze Age of horror. It's not Halloween if it's April Fool. 'Cause critters rule and ghoulies drool. So talk to the hand, leather face. Make way for the killer clowns from outer space. Bronze Age of horror. I'm a toxic avenger. I'm a hellboy. Where's my army of darkness? Come on, make some noise. It's a swamp thing. It's a native life. Pumpkin head with a fork and Chucky with a knife. Monster Mash is a thing of the past. To get into this body, you need no class. You didn't know we're right around the corner. We are the Bronze Age of horror. I give the ring the finger. Blair Witch can be my Freddy, Jason, you're just alright. But we're hanging with the gremlins just after midnight.